Yo, homies, it is July 1st, so it is time for a new batch of cool stuff for all you uh, Patreon producer tiers. I just want to say thank you for being here. There's a small army of you guys now, and so I'm gonna switch it up and try and give you a bit more value this month. I'm gonna be changing things every month and just trying to do cool stuff for you. So this month. I'm giving you the Ableton session of Do Your Thing, as well as the stems. I'll talk about that in a sec. But I'm also going to be doing a group lesson for all of you. We're going to do it on Zoom, and we're going to do it on July 4th. So I live in Calgary. It's going to be 4 p.m. for me, 8 a.m. Sydney, Australia, 6 a.m. Perth, 11 p.m. at night London on Saturday, and 6 p.m. for Toronto. Now there's almost 60 of you guys, and so it's really all over the world. So it's really hard to pick a good time, but this is kind of like the best for everyone that hopefully the most of you can join. So it's going to be recorded still, and I'll have it for download for you guys for the month. But we're going to go over this session. We're going to talk about music production. You guys can ask whatever questions you want. I'll put at least, 2 hours aside, can maybe go longer if it needs to. And yeah, we'll hang out and we'll talk music and we'll go over it. So I'm going to be getting a Zoom Pro account so that we can all hang out there. Make sure you go download Zoom right here. When you download Zoom, go into your preferences, go to your audio, come down to advanced, and make sure that this thing is on. Show in meeting option to enable original sound. That's going to let you actually hear good quality sound from Zoom. If you don't have that on, audio, any kind of music audio does not sound good at all. So make sure you have that on. I believe you can turn it on in the session too if you forget. I'll go over it in the meeting. So yeah, so that's exciting. I'm really stoked to hang out with you guys. So July 4th. And yeah, let's get back to the rewards. So you'll get a download link. Your download link will look like this when you get it. So Stickybuds, Do Your Thing, stem session. So 105 BPM, and it's also an F minor. Important to write the key on there. So I asked you guys on the post last month what you wanted, and a few you said this track. And this is definitely one of the favorite tunes I've ever done. Definitely one of the most well received. I've played it on dance floors all over the world, and it always goes off. I think it's just like a nice combo of kind of like the new school mixed with the old school. So this is the session. Now this is what exactly it's going to look like when you guys open it. Very good chance you guys aren't going to have all the same plugins I have. The only thing I've frozen is this clav down here, just because it's a contact library. So I thought I'd freeze that, so that should load for you, no problem. So everything else, I mean, there's lots of different things like Soothe, and which is like it's like a resonance compressor that is a really great plugin. But we're going to talk about this sort of stuff in the live stream group lesson. So there's going to be a whole bunch of things you guys don't have, but maybe you have it too. Like I use lots of UAD stuff in my sends, reverbs, and weird delays and whatever. These are all just things that I like, and you don't necessarily have to go out and get them. I would definitely suggest not going out and getting them unless you know that you really want to, because UAD stuff is really expensive. And just a quick segue, like I have a UAD sound card. Over the years, I've spent way over $2,000 just on plugins on UAD stuff. You can totally get away with not having this stuff, but I have a Universal Audio sound card, and they do make some really nice stuff. If you happen to be thinking about getting Universal Audio stuff, I just want to point out that they have this refer a friend thing. So if you guys are going to buy a UAD sound card or like a new piece of like a new interface or an accelerator, let me know, because I can put your guys' email in here. And when you sign up and get one and register it, you'll get a free plugin, and I'll get a free plugin. And like some of these plugins cost like $300. So it's like actually very beneficial if you guys do that. But I'm not telling you to go out and buy this stuff because it's expensive and like it's really easy to blow money, and you can make great music without all these plugins. But I've been doing it a long time and I have lots of plugins. So don't get discouraged when you open the session and you see a ton of shit that you don't have, okay? Because it's not a big deal. Oh, with that said, so here is the tune. So, you know, this is like the master session. So we got the drums. We got the music. We got the top sucky sounds, which is kind of like just an addition to the bass line. So there's two groups of bass. There is the bass render. Now this is kind of like my mix down process of how I do the final engineering of a finished song. So we have just the low end, and then we have the tops, and then they're side chained, but then I also do utility volume side chaining. This is the stuff we're going to talk about in the session. I can show you guys and explain it all. But then there's also the bass raw, which is kind of like some are patches, some are like flattened and stuff. Some are samples, some are massive and serum and other samples, and you can go in and you can check those out. I didn't make a folder just with the sounds because like some of these actually came from other artists and stuff, but you know, you can use them and go look at them and play with them and like whatever. There's lots of pieces in this session that comes from my friends. And this is kind of just like the natural progression of music. Like the side chain I used is like Slink side chain. And then like some of the vocal processing stuff is, you know, stuff that I used and learned from Scope. It's like Scope's vocal chain. And this is just like the cool thing about music that gets passed down through generations and friends and things of producers. You know, I could have gone in here and changed the names of everything and made it all look like everything was completely made by me, but that's just not how music works, you know? Like you learn things through the knowledge and wisdom of others being passed down to you. So that's what's happening right now. You know, I have years and years of experience of doing this stuff, and I work with amazing friends who also do that, and we all learn from each other. So you'll see all sorts of names in these sessions and stuff like that if you look close enough. And that's just the cool thing about music. And we'll talk lots more about that in the sessions and how it all comes together. There's all the James Brown stuff. Yeah. And then there's also the Mr. Williams acapella that I had recorded for it.
From Maliko youth, from Maliko Pitney, we are go a dance hall, we are go a party. Stickybuds in and of style.
So yeah, like, and then you'll hear like all the delays and stuff. It's very easy for me to just get super into this session, but I don't want to do that for you guys right now because I want to do it live. I want you to be able to ask me questions about stuff like that. And yeah, so here's the session. Here's all the effects and things like that. So just to recap, good chance that things are going to sound different to how they are in this session for me as they are for you, just because there's so many plugs that I have and use. But we'll get there. And then to mitigate that and to give you basically the exact same things is you get the stems. So I'm just going to make a new Ableton set. Doop doop-a-doo. So new Ableton set. Let me just minimize this for a second. Close this for a second. So in your Do Your Things folder, so you have the session, the Ableton session. That's what we were just in. And then you have the full instrumental, the full version, WAV files, and then the MP3 that has artwork in it if you want that. And then you have the stems here. So let me show you how to deal with the stems in case you've never done that before. So open a new Ableton session, grab all of these, drag them into Ableton. It's going to do this. Hold the command key on Mac, and I believe it would be Control probably on PC. And you see that it does it lengthwise. It goes to putting them all on tracks. And if you just let go, it's going to make enough tracks to put all of those down. And so we have all of the tracks here. Okay, a couple things when working with stems. First, off the bat, you want to make sure they're all unwarped. So I've just highlighted all of these and unwarped them. Like if you select all of them and hit Shift Tab, then you get to this area. Just make sure warp is turned off. Okay, and then the second thing, you want to double click on each one and just make sure that the stem is starting the playheads at the very start. And then that means that they're actually going to line up. Ableton likes to do this thing sometimes. Yeah, see, that one was like it. So Ableton decided to put the playhead there for whatever genius reason, but just make sure you just move it to the start, because if there's all these little discrepancies, the stems aren't going to line up. So one thing to note, I gave you guys 2 bass stems. One has no sidechain in case you want to go in and sample them. Always go and turn your bar start off too. So these don't have a sidechain, but the one that says that doesn't say no sidechain is sidechained. And that's just from kind of like the mix down process of how I engineer the tune. So if you want to do resampling and play with the sounds and stuff, use this one. But if you're actually trying to make the tune, then just delete that, because you don't want to double up the sounds. So if you want to get kind of like an accurate version of the song, just throw all these together, group them.
Get up off of that thing.
Okay, it's definitely going to be a little quiet. So I would just grab a limiter of your choice. I can't remember what I mixed this song to. I think like -9 when I did it. That sounds pretty close. And then if you want to compare it to how it sounds to like the actual mix down file, just grab the wave file. Looks like just double click on this, unwarp that. The tempo of this session isn't set properly, but I could set it properly, and you should. So it's 105 BPM, just like we remember. How the song kind of starts though with that little intro, and it's not bounced from one. So I just look to where this first hit is. And if you want an easy way to make this hit the first one is to go up and create insert time signature change, and that puts it on a bar marker.
Get up off of that thing. Get up off of that thing. Get up off of that thing. And shake.
If you want to hear you're in time, just hit the metronome.
Get up off of that thing. And shake till you feel better. Get up off of that thing. And shake till you.
Cool, and then we can compare.
Get up off of that thing. And shake till you feel better. Get up off of that.
Sounding pretty close. Maybe it's limited just a little bit more.
So good,
Yep, that sounds pretty close to me. So yeah, so now you got everything in here all lined up, and now the plugins don't matter now because these are the stems. All the plugins and processing and everything is printed in here. So now you have the acapella to do your thing. You got the drums, you got the bass line, you got the synth sounds. As always, there is a license agreement. I put a PDF in this time just because I put in the Mac text format last time, and some of you guys couldn't read it. It's basically just saying you guys can kind of use this stuff in your own productions, except now this song is definitely a bootleg. You know, I didn't release this song officially. The Mr. Williams vocals and stuff I recorded myself, and there's lots of my own production, but there's lots of samples. Like the James Brown stuff are other people's intellectual property. Same with most of the instruments, like some I put in there and some are from kind of like the James Brown stems that I used that these other people recreated. And I'll talk about that in the workshop. Yeah, but you know, you could use the bass stuff and you can use the drums and the effects and things like that. Just be clever about it. And I know all you guys are smart and respectful in how you use these things. So take a gander at the license agreement. And yeah, covering a lot. I didn't want to make this video that long, but thank you for watching. So I'm going to email all you guys a schedule just to remind you, July 4th. You can figure out your time zone. I'm going to include a link that you can click on and put in whatever city you live in. And, you know, hopefully it will tell you what time that the lesson's going to be at. And then I'll email you guys maybe like 10 minutes before the session with the link and the password. And I'll post it on the Patreon page too. And you can get in there. And what else do we got? The other thing is that Black Octopus Sound, my friends over there, have become Super Chewbacca Baller sponsors of my Different Strains show. And they have offered all of you guys and everyone who, you know, I'm friends with and who's like down with what I'm doing, 25% off of sample packs and presets and templates. So if you want to get if you need some new samples and stuff like that, use the code Stickybuds25 and you get 25% off. Like I'm saying though, like you don't have to spend a ton of money to be a good producer. You can definitely utilize the things that you have and you know, do a lot with it. But I've used these guys' samples for a long time and they're a really great company. So if you need some stuff, Stickybuds25 will get you 25% off. Yeah, and once again, guys, thank you for being producer Patreons. I really appreciate it. It's been really fun. I've loved chatting with you guys. It's sweet hearing your songs. Let me know if you guys want me to set up a Discord. I've never been a big Discorder. I use it for like chatting with a couple people, but maybe if there's more value I can give you guys by setting up a Discord and, you know, maybe once a month I can listen to the tunes you're working on and we could just have a quick chat, do a little feedback or something. I think I could fit that in the schedule. Yeah. So I think that's it. July 4th, we're going to have our lesson. We're going to hang out. We'll talk about Do Your Thing. We'll talk about music. And yeah, so dig into the sessions, dig into the stems. It's waiting there for you now. Much respect. And we'll talk to you guys soon. Big up.